Okay, everyone, I think we're going to get started. My name's Ken Delata. I'm the county conservationist for Oconto County Land and Water Conservation Department. I want to thank everyone for showing up tonight. But before we get started, for anyone that is not familiar with Zoom, I'm going to go through the screen quick for you. If you look in your bottom left lower corner, there's a microphone there that says mute. Click on that. It'll put a little red line through it. We ask that everyone does that while the people are presenting. When we get to the end, you want to ask a question, then you just unmute it. Next one over is the stop video. If you're having a poor Wi-Fi reception or internet connection, by turning your camera off usually helps that. You'll still be able to see everything we present. We just won't be able to see you. As you go across, you can see we have 13 participants, 14 participants now. It just changed. And then the next to it is the chat. You can click on that button and it opens up a text box and everyone will be able to read what goes in there. But if you have any questions throughout the thing and you don't think you'll remember them to the end or you want to throw them in there, you can just type it in there. And as we go through the presentation, we'll make sure that they all get answered. So with that, I am going to turn it over to Ryan.
Thanks, Ken. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. My name is Ryan Haney. I'm with UWSP Center for Watershed Science, and we're here tonight basically just to introduce you to the Oconto County Lakes Project. It's a project that the county has undertaken with the help of the DNR, UW Stevens Point, Oconto County Extension, Oconto County Lakes and Waterways Association, a number of groups involved in this project. And the idea is basically just to assess the water resources in Oconto County, assess the lakes. The county has decided that water is a priority in this county, and so but they don't know where things stand, what issues may be, how to direct resources, things like that. So to kind of start a baseline, this project has started, which involves collecting some baseline information on all 60 lakes, 60 plus. I think it's probably closer to 66 lakes in the county with public access. There's over 300 lakes in the county, but about 60 plus of them have been identified for this project because of their public access. And so now Boulder Lake is coming into the fold. We've been running this project for about 5 or 6 years now. And I'll talk a little bit about how the project logistics and the timeline here in a minute, but I just wanted to introduce Ken Delata, who's from your county conservation department, Land and Water Conservation Department, Dale Moore, who's on from UW Extension, Brenda Nordine from the DNR, Steve from Oconto Lakes and Waterways Association, myself and Sarah from UWSP. And we just kind of want to introduce you to this project. Your lake will be entering this project next month. I'll talk a little bit more about that. And for now, I'll let Ken or Dale talk a little bit about background of the project, how we got started, and then we'll talk about how the project unfolds for you. And ultimately, we want to hear any things you guys might have to add, concerns, issues, things you'd like us to be aware of through this process. So, Ken and Dale.
All right. Well, I'm going to jump on here quick before Dale gets on. And all this information that we're collecting from all the lakes and for your lake and everything is going to be saved on our county website. So you'll be able to access it at any time. We update it as soon as we get it. So it will be as most updated as we can get it, I guess. Hope everyone can see my computer screen here with this is the main county website page when you go to it. So when you get to that, you go up to the top and click on departments. You scroll down and you go to Land and Water Conservation. And once you get here, you can see on the left, we got several tabs. The County Waterways, Aquatic Invasive Species is the tab you want to click on. We have 4 tabs here: invasive species information, Healthy Waters Cost Share Program. That's a program we have that we fund projects to improve lake water quality and health through associations, organizations. It could be sportsman clubs, it could be the Lake Association, or the municipalities up there. Then we have the countywide lake study. That's where everything will be kept under that one. But first, I'm just going to mention below that, we have the county cost share program. This is for individual people. It's a 70% cost share program, up to $2,500 cost sharing. And this is for if you have shoreline erosion, water drainage issues around your place that are causing an impact to the lake. We come out there, do a free site assessment for you and whatnot, and see if you're eligible for cost sharing and what we can recommend to correct it. So, but back to the countywide lake study.
Hey, Ken.
Yep.
Ken, before you leave that page, the Healthy Waters Cost Share Program, that in fact is the program that the Boulder Lake Association has taken advantage of with the grant that they received back in 2018. So just to bring it to life for the group.
That's correct. I forgot about that. Thanks, Steve. So once you get to this page, here's the countywide lake study. And the first one is operation strategy and plan for surface water management. That's what the county put together for this project. I won't go into detail on that, but you're welcome to read it if you'd like. Countywide lake survey results. When this program started, sent out, I believe it was 400 surveys to people in the county, not necessarily on lakes or anything, and asked questions on how they valued the water and stuff in Oconto County. So some interesting results in there if you're interested. The individual lake summary reports and plans. Once the data collection is about done, Ryan and his crew start with a summary, then it goes to a draft plan. And all that'll be saved here and updated, as I said, as often as we get the new information in. And you can see there's the other lakes on here. The first one's Anderson Lake has a final lake management plan. Then right below it's their summary. So if you're interested to see what this is going to look like, you can go look at these other lakes on here and get an idea of what they're going to look like. Then back on this page, the projects update, Dale Moore is going to talk about that. So I'm just going to skip that one. Then new topographic maps. Part of this lake study, they are going to do new topo maps of your lake. So they will be posted on there once we have them done. Then below that, we have the recording of the lake study for our virtual meetings here. If a neighbor or anyone else couldn't make it tonight and is interested, this will be posted on there in about a week or so, this presentation. So people can go and view it there. And then below that is the individual lake survey. And when I sent out the original link, I asked people to take this survey and stuff, but I did get some requests for the link after that. So you basically just go to Boulder Lake. It's a short survey. It's your impression on the lake, good, bad, or indifferent. We ask that you take it. This helps us in the planning stages when we get there. And if you have multiple people in your household, we ask everyone take it. It's not just one per household. People that don't live on the lake but use the lake and have an opinion on it, they can take it. Many people as possible that can give their opinion on your lake. So we just ask you take that when you get a chance. So with that, I am going to turn it over to Dale Moore.
Hi, everyone. I'm Dale Moore. I'm the county agent for community development and natural resources. And as Ryan mentioned and Ken mentioned a little bit as well, this is a process in your lake that we're here to talk about tonight and let you know that's going to start the study is really one of the pieces into a broader project that we're looking at. About 6 years ago, we came together with a citizen group and we identified a number of key concerns. One of them is the lack of resources as well as a perceived concern about our lakes and our waters and our groundwater within the county. And Ken and I at that time, we were trying to figure out how we were going to be able to deal with over 300 lakes within the county, hundreds of miles of streams and rivers. And anyway, out of that came the idea of working with a lot of people that have that expertise. And Ryan went through that list of folks. And we're lucky that we have everybody working together in Oconto County, even though their job descriptions say that they're all over the place, all over the state, all over the region. And we're able to, through the grant with the DNR, is able to bring everybody together and start to focus just on our 60 lakes. So we chose the 60 lakes because they have public access, and we thought that they would have the most likelihood of showing impacts by people. So whether it's aquatic invasive or terrestrial, something needs to be done and identified. And then we thought, well, wouldn't it have been nice that 50 years ago if somebody would have done a across the board lake management plans for the last 60 lakes, that we could see what it was half a century ago? It wasn't done. It was done in a sporadic way. Some people have very strong districts or associations, and they spent money getting this information. So we thought, well, how can we do this for the small lakes as well as the large lakes and do it in a manageable way? And that's where it comes to the document on Ken's sheet here. I hope everybody can still see it. It's called the Oconto County Lakes Project Update. Click on that. And this, in a sense, is going to be a document that is living. It's got what our basis is under that first paragraph. Talks about what it is that we're trying to accomplish with those 60 lakes. The bottom of that first paragraph, Ken did a great job of showing you how to get and navigate to a website with all that data that's been archived now for you to get to. But this is a cheat right here, basically a link that if you click on that digitally, or if you were to type it in, is case sensitive, will take you directly to the site that I was just at, and you don't have to try to find all that data. But if you lose this link, it's good to go back and follow the steps that Ken put out. Now with this, the idea was, how are we going to keep people gainfully employed on their lakes? They know a study is started. It's going to take 2 years, and we didn't want them to just be on the tail end of the process. So we created this document to let you know what the 5 goals were within the project, where each of the lakes stand. Because you can imagine doing 60 lakes, only 6 to 9 lakes every year, and it's a 2-year process. It was difficult for us to say, well, who do we contact and how do we keep people, have that communication going back and forth? And we didn't want to lose you folks. So we thought, if we come out at the very beginning and we call it Meet Your Scientists, at least the lake is aware that the process is going on. But then how do they maintain that awareness? And this document is a tool to do that. So just if you bear with me, it is about 7 pages long. It is described, so if you print it, you can give it to your neighbors, put it in your file so that you have a history of what it is that we're working on. But you'll see that the first goal is listed with the activity listed right underneath it. So you know what the scientists, as it were, are going to do and how they're going to achieve that task. What I have in yellow are the lakes that are done right now. So in the past, we would have had Bear Lake at the beginning under this number 1 here, but now we start out with Pickerel and Half Moon because they're complete. So if you happen to talk to somebody that is on another lake and they want to know if their lake is part of this project, hand them this sheet and let them know that if it is done, they'll find their lake's name within this document. They won't necessarily have to go to the website. So when we look at shoreland survey or coarse woody habitat survey or the plants that are within the lake, we're going to be able to put dates on here. And in this case, that's usually done in the first year. So, this document isn't necessarily a day-to-day or an hour-by-hour update. We are going to be inviting anybody who wants to come out and go on the boats and participate with the volunteerism, that sort of thing. I would not use this document for the dates, because if Brenda Nordine from the DNR calls in sick on the day, don't look to me to update her schedule on this document. What this does is it lets you know that if something is done or completed or a timeline, roughly in that, whether it's going to be summer or fall, you're going to start to see it here. If you want to volunteer and have actual dates and times that people are going to be on the water, contacts Ken's office, and he'll be able to do through an email chain back and forth with you and the person out on the lake, and we can marry you up that way. Okay. So this document is really to allow you to know what those 5 goals are, share it with your neighbors, share it with an association or a group of folks, and let them know what the deliverables are, activities that we're going to do, and when it's going to be collected. So if we look at goal number 2 here, the date for collection is really going to, we're looking at deliverables, the outcome, the mini report here is going to be in 2022. So we're not looking at having that mini report generated this year yet. It's going to be in 2022. So anyway, that's to let you know again that this is not a up-to-date document. It's just going to give you generalities and let you know when things are going to be accomplished. So as we go through, you can read through this document. Please print it out and make an extra copy and give it to a neighbor that's not here tonight so that they can understand as well. So as we go through number 3, you'll still see the same general format for each one. You got the goal, you got the activity, you got the lakes that are completed, and then you've got the deliverables. As we go through goal number 4 yet, we've still got a lot of lakes that are outstanding for as far as the planning and finishing it off. So all these lakes have gone before you, but they're not done in the process. As we finish up with goal number 5, we get to the last page, and it goes over what Ken has mentioned that's on that website for everybody. But we really want everybody to remember that the major projects that were completed include that countywide survey. This survey was generated, and the key to this survey was it was one of the first steps that we took to share the importance to the county board. So when the survey started to show how much people spent, whether it's in the winter on the lakes or during the summer or fall, passive recreation or active, we really wanted to be able to show the county that the return on investment for their money and their effort in getting us to work on this has value to a lot of people. So that survey did a lot of research for us and to be able to paint that basis for what we're working on. We use that survey as well as some of the documents that have been put together across the state. We do presentations. We can come out if there's a lake association or a group that wants to know more about this. I'd be happy to come out and we could talk. But we have done a number of presentations with the tourism board here in the county, as well as the county board and the DNR, the main funder, to let them know how we're progressing. So when you look at this number 3 there, Ken mentioned that there's an operational strategy guide. When we first worked with the first 6 lakes, and then we had another 9 lakes coming on, we started to hear key concerns from folks on those lakes. We took those concerns and we brought them to the county department heads, law enforcement, sheriff, health and human services, tourism, parks, recreation, highway. And we asked, is there a way that the county can address a lot of these concerns? And there were. And a lot of it wasn't a lot of hard work. It was just changing some standard operating procedures in many cases. Well, they were willing, those department heads were willing to put that down on paper. There's 16 goals within this document. They have responded to what they would do within each of those departments. We wrote it up as an operational strategy and plan document. And then the county board adopted it, 31 supervisors. Nobody was opposed to it. So they have that as an aspirational guide, as a guide for those individual departments. So again, we've taken this concern of ours with the water within the county. We've tied it back into the county departments. We've tied it back into the county board itself. And we're trying to keep the folks that are out there as informed as we can. So as we get to number 4 here, there's an individual property for lakes. So if you get your neighbor out there and you say, hey, don't forget to fill out the survey, and they don't know how to do that, well, just give them this document and highlight that for them and say, please fill out individual lake surveys. And you've got at least 2 years to do it, but I highly recommend that you go after it right away. Some folks have asked already, what do we do in this 2-year period? And you can volunteer, go out with the researchers on the lake. You can volunteer to be a citizen monitor on the lake and enter your data, give it to the DNR, so that now we have somebody trained on that water body that can get that information flowing throughout the years, hopefully the decades on into the future, and we can get a lot of information. The other thing that you could do is meet as a group of folks. If it's not everybody on the lake, it would be great to have a number of households that are there and talk about the key concerns you might have, as well as the hopes and dreams that you have for your lake. We would love to have that like in a priority. If everybody would like better fishing opportunities, or they notice an erosion zone occurring or erosion occurring and a lot of runoff coming into the lake, we want to know that. And you can send that information to Ken, his office, and we'll get it to Ryan, and we'll make sure that we get some eyes on it. There was a lake in the past that had some runoff from a farm field. And what we found out is that the farmer rented it to someone else who didn't realize that if they get too close to their property line, they're just going to lose all that dirt and sediment right into the lake. And that's what was going on for like 3 years. So who would have known? We wouldn't have known about it until somebody brought it up. And then we were able to address that through Ken's office. So, and then on this last part of the page, we would love to have you send emails to everybody who's on this team, but it gets a little bit hard to track whether or not your email or your question was answered. So if you want to send that either to my office or Ken's office at these two links, we prefer that. Then we can get it to the right people, and then you can have direct conversation with them, go that route. But instead of just contacting people willy-nilly, we much rather have the contacts for Ken and I. Besides, when this project is done and over with, that doesn't mean it's done for the entire project. It just means it's done for your lake. We have a lot to work yet, and those of us that live, breathe, and work within the county, we'll keep this alive, and we're going to keep making sure that this plan is implemented down the road. So with that, then the last page just has a couple of documents that are on there to give people an idea of what they're looking at when they get there. So please, we say go to that webpage, use that short little link there. I'm highlighting with my little mouse there. Get right there, start opening a lot of those documents. Just read through it and see what your interest is on a lot of that. So really, that's a bit of the background and how we're going to try to keep people informed. I did send out a postcard, which I hope you all received. If not, let us know. At least we got your email this time around. We do have those addresses. So next time information comes around and we want to reach you, we're going to use your current email, if that's all right. And also, we'll be sending out postcards. You'll probably also see some updates in the newspaper as we write articles about it to keep that interest at the county alive and well. So thank you for your attention tonight, and I will then turn it over to Ryan.
Thanks, Dale. I just want to say a couple things before we answer any questions you have. First thing I want to say is that this process and this lake management planning is intended to augment anything else you may have going on. I know Boulder, is dealing with milfoil. They've got an association that they've received grants. And so this isn't meant to step on any toes. It's just to wrap you guys into the process of gaining some baseline information on Boulder, including some information that may not have been gathered in the past. And to utilize anything you guys have going on. I was looking, it looks like you guys have had a volunteer on Boulder Lake for a number of years collecting information. Paul Martin, I don't know if he's on tonight, but he's been collecting data for at least the past 10 years or so. And then we have data going back about 20 years for Boulder Lake. So this data that we collect will just kind of add on to that. And fortunately for you guys, we'll have something, a little bit of, past decades data to look at to see if we can see any trends or anything happening. But again, it's just intended to arm you guys with a comprehensive understanding of your lake. And particularly when you guys have the things going on your lake. I know you guys are a high use lake and things like that. having a comprehensive lake management plan put together will make you guys more competitive for resources, including grants and things like that going forward. So just real quick, the timeline on this is that this project basically kicks off for you guys starting next month in June. If someone's already set up to be collecting water samples, they will continue doing that. We will be using that information in our study. In addition to that, we're going to be doing between DNR and the team an aquatic plant survey of the entire lake, which looks at invasives, but also native plants and the community and assemblage there. Of course, the ongoing water samples, we will do additional sampling beyond what the citizen monitoring sampling does. So we'll be also sampling in fall, spring, winter, times like that, so we get a full picture. We'll be looking at the watershed, land use in the watershed, soil types, things like that. Doing surveys of habitat, both in the water and near shore, an updated fisheries survey, and then incorporating any organizational structure you guys may have. Again, I know there's a lake association that's active there, so we hope to be work with them integrally and provide them whatever they need. Look at any recreation issues, and then again, update the bathymetry and topography of the lake with electronic maps and stuff like that. So this baseline study is, that we're doing for the lakes, it's a 2-year study. So that would be wrapping up in the spring of 2023, at which point we'll publish our results in a series of reports that'll come out. And then what we'll do is we'll call another public meeting, get together with your association and anyone else that's interested, and present this data, present what we found. Again, have all the various partners there to give their expertise, their recommendations, advice, answer your questions. And so we'll do that in this sometime probably late summer 2023, go through that presentation, and then we will draft a comprehensive management plan, which is has a number of state standards that it has to meet, but we will guide you through that process so that you can get a plan on file that is worthy of grant applications and things like that. And so once we have a plan that everyone is happy with, and we'll go through that process at the time, then that lake management plan goes on file with the DNR, goes on file with the county. Your local township is made aware of that, and so that all the various entities that may be involved in activities impacting your lake are aware of this document. And so lake management plan is just designed to be a house, to house all the information you currently know about a lake and what your objectives and your visions are for where you'd like to see that lake go based on what we understand about the lake. And so it's designed to be a living document, something that you create, you make some decisions based on what you know, and then you edit it or you change it as you learn more. So that's the process. If anyone has any questions for any of us about the project, about your lake, we'd love to hear from you. And again, if you're interested in participating, we will have the dates available for what days DNR or various folks will be out doing some of this work. So if you're interested in going out on the boat or just asking them questions, or at least you'll just know why you see a boat out there doing something. And we encourage you to take that survey. The online survey is a great place for you to comment and really kind of quantify what people are thinking around the lake and what their general idea is. So with that, any questions we can answer for you folks? Does anyone know, is Boulder Lake working with a consultant already? I know you guys are dealing with some milfoil and some things like that. Anyone know what the status of that is? That's okay. That'll be things we track down in this process.
They're working with Onterra, I believe, Ryan.
Okay, good.
Yep, Onterra is the consultant that does the pre and post treatment surveys. So, or, whatever sort of control action is undertaken. The Onterra will come in and, evaluate whether or not it was effective.
Okay. And yeah, we've worked with Ontario a bunch, so we will definitely make sure that they're obviously aware of and involved in this as much as they need to be as well. Particularly when you're dealing with something like milfoil or invasive species, things like that. This process that gives you kind of a holistic view of your lake, not just zeroing in on the one problem, but understanding how your lake is working really makes you far more competitive for those grants and gives you a lot more attention, as we've seen. And this being a county-wide effort in Oconto County, it's really drummed up a lot of activity and a lot of interest in the lake community. So there's a lot going on right now. So I'm glad to have you guys involved with this. Any other questions? Again, if something comes up, feel free to contact one of us. Otherwise, and feel free to look at the county website. You can look at other lakes that have gone through this process, look at some of their management plans, some of their reports. You can kind of get an idea of what's involved here. If you have any questions, let any of us know. Otherwise, yeah, look for a notice sometime in 2023 about this study wrapping up and what the next steps will be there. Anything for you, Ken? Is Ken still there? Oh, Steve. Yeah, Steve. Steve's here from Oconto County Lake and Waterways Association, which if you're not aware of, they're kind of an umbrella group in Oconto County for lake associations, and have been involved in this project throughout. Steve, do you want to say anything about Ocala?
Sure. In fact, the Boulder Lake Private Homes Association has been a member of Ocala for quite a few years, and we were glad that we could help them get that grant from the county a few years ago. I believe that was for dealing with some Eurasian water milfoil at that time. And I'd like to introduce Derek Thorne, who's on the call. We were able to work with Forest and Langlade counties, Forest, Langlade, and Oconto counties to get a grant to be able to hire an aquatic invasive species coordinator. We did have one 3 or 4 years ago in Oconto County, and weren't able to get grants for the last few years, but we were able to do that now, and we look forward to Derek coming on board. So Derek, why don't you introduce yourself and have a few words, please?
Hi, my name is Derek Thorne. I am very happy to be here. I'm excited for these projects, and I will be managing the aquatic invasive species end of things as best I can. This is my first week, so I'm just getting my feet wet, and I'll figure out where to go from here. But I will definitely, my main priority is to make the county's waterways better, along with everybody else that's on this panel.
And we get at least 1/3 of them.
Thanks, Derek. So yeah, that's kind of the team, some of the resources available to you, and we'll see what we find out and see what we can come up with when the project wraps up.
Thanks, guys, for all your help on this and all the work you're going to put in. Appreciate it.
Yeah, you bet. It's It's what we do. Enjoy it. Gets me out on the lake. Happy laking. I remember I'm glad Boulder Lake came up. I remember camping on Boulder Lake there at the south ends at that campground probably 30 years ago, and just loving the area, but long before I got into lake stuff. So it's glad to see you guys come up on the list.
And Ryan, I might add, we know that the lake is in 2 counties. So
That's true.
we want to add that the LandCon from Langley County is well aware of this and is participating as well. So
Good.
we're not doing it in a bubble, and we're not drawing an arbitrary line down the middle of the lake.
See who gets rid of the milfoil first, right?
Yeah, we know where to dump it, right?
All right. Okay. Thank you all. Thanks for attending.
Thanks, everyone.
Have a good night.